looks like it. The hair's unmistakable. I think we may have lost Chad though, so we'll see if he reestablishes his connection here. But I'm gonna bring in. Oh, we got to change the name here. Sorry about that. I was trying to figure out what was going on with Chad and his connect. We won't leave him up there, but I did not edited the wrong one. All right. Evan Prater, receiver for the Cincinnati Bearcats. Keegan joins us again. Welcome back, Keegan. But Evan, the receiver room once again is new.
Sure.
There's a lot of new faces here in the receiver room. What's it been like getting back from injury, and then what's been like reestablishing new connections with all the new faces?
I mean, it's been good, rehabbing, trying to just get back to, myself and being able to kind of perfect my craft and kind of still learning the ins and outs of the receiver position. But, I mean, having new guys, building those connections, it's something that I definitely take pride in, being a guy that's been here going on my 5th year. So just making sure the guys feel welcome and comfortable when they get here. So just building those relationships, bouncing ideas off of guys, just trying to find ways that I can better myself and ultimately just help out the team by building those connections, early on.
Terrence Smith is a guy, top level speed, just that next level. When you look at a guy like him, what does he bring to the offense in terms of opening it up for the whole offense, just making the job easier for the quarterbacks?
I mean, he's fast, he's twitchy, he's got experience. Yeah. I mean, I think those are all things that the coaches saw in him, and that, I mean, going and watching throughout the spring, like you could definitely see that he has that niche for kind of finding those windows, getting an open space, and then when he gets the ball in his hands, like he's a real problem. So I'm excited to see what he does coming up in the fall and then going on into the season.
Sure. So you got it, Aaron. Go.
You mentioned this being your 5th season with Cincinnati. You've seen things before NIL. You've seen things now with NIL. You have the Cincy Reigns connection, obviously, as they're part of this whole 513 day. But what's it been like to go from no NIL to where we're at now with NIL, and how's that changed things for you?
I mean, it's been an awesome experience for me. Definitely being a Cincinnati guy as well. I mean, I go home for Mother's Day yesterday, and the first thing mom and dad do is crack open a Cincy Light. So, I mean, it's funny, but just being from Cincinnati and then kind of just hearing the talks about it before I even got to college, and then finally kind of getting to experience it for myself. It's been super helpful. It's tremendous. It's awesome having Cincy Reigns here in Cincinnati to help out all of our athletes. So, I mean, it's been something special. I talked to guys like Dez and Ahmad, and they all talk about, I mean, how close they were just to having that NIL connection, but they sadly didn't get it. But I'm very thankful.
There's some high numbers there.
For sure.
You're in kind of a unique position that you can have sort of an expertise in the wide receiver position, also the QB position. So Brendan Sorsby comes in year 1. When you're looking at the kind of player he is, how would you kind of describe his game? To me, he seems like kind of a gunslinger guy that wants to really make a play at all costs.
Yeah, he's a playmaker for sure, and you kind of see it. I mean, he's got all the tools that you could ask for in a quarterback. I mean, he's fast. Ball placement's amazing. He's got great arm strength. I think one of his strengths, though, that I saw in the spring a lot was kind of managing outside of the pocket, making plays outside of the pocket when things collapse or whatever. So seeing him kind of rolling out, directing traffic, and making some of these throws, it's impressive. So I'm happy to have him here. He's a great guy. Met his family, great family. So I'm just excited to have him up here in Cincinnati.
I got kids coming home off the bus at 3:00, so I'm going to have Dave actually tag in for me and go do that. Sorry about the awkward transition. Wasn't expecting Chad to have his entire computer crash and reset. So that's where we're at with a nice little subathon going on through the day. But Dave, I appreciate you.
Happy to help. If I look off to the side, it might be an email or something, but glad to be here. Glad to have you on, Evan. I wanted to ask you the transition from quarterback to receiver, were there any elements from playing quarterback that made the transition easier? Was there anything that made it harder, perhaps? I'm not sure. We talk about the harder parts, but is there anything that helped you, and is there anything that you kind of had to relearn from seeing it and thinking of it as a quarterback to now as a receiver?
I think that the easiest thing for me was kind of just having that knowledge of the offense and kind of being on that same page as a quarterback. I spent a lot of time in that QB room, so watching all the film, knowing all the plays, I think that's one of my strengths, and just being able to kind of just throw me out there and put me in any position, slot, outside, even a little bit of tight end last year. I mean, that really helped me moving to receiver. And then the hardest thing probably was the conditioning, I would say. I mean, I was just so used to three-step dropping back in the pocket and throwing the ball, and then getting mad at the receivers when they didn't look like they were running. But now I understand where they were coming from. So I think the conditioning was definitely kind of just the hardest part for me.
Are there any routes that you felt came easier versus, harder ones when it comes to your footwork and your breaks or the steps? Were you counting steps in your head when you were first doing it to,
Yeah,
try
sure.
and then realizing how slow you were going because
I was
you
probably
were
looking like I was moving in slow motion, but I mean, yeah, I was definitely counting the steps. The easiest one was definitely just the go ball, the fade ball. Yeah, just tell me to run down the field and I'll make it happen. But I mean, just kind of all the ins and outs and the footwork and technique, all that stuff. I mean, it was definitely more than I expected when I moved to the position. So, I mean, having a lot of guys with experience that have done it all their life, great coaches, and kind of just having everybody in my corner that wanted to help me out. I mean, my older brother played receiver. He played here. And so kind of just asking him what I can do, guys that aren't here anymore, like Will Pauling, Jaden Thompson. I mean, bounce ideas off those guys all the time. So just having a lot of people in my corner, it really helped me out, and just knowing a lot of people with that experience.
So kind of comparing to last year, Evan Prater as a wide receiver, obviously you have the injury thing that kind of threw a wrench into things. But if you could look back to where you were at a knowledge standpoint last year, just the familiarity with the position compared to it now, how would you compare to last year?
I mean, I think I've made great strides. I mean, it was definitely hard. Didn't expect it. It was kind of out of nowhere. But then, because I didn't get any spring ball of it last year either.
Yeah.
So going into fall camp, it really helped. Just getting those reps. I think reps is the biggest thing. And then going throughout the season, practicing day in and day out. And then, unfortunately, didn't get to practice this spring, which would have been awesome just to get those reps. But I think just kind of having that knowledge for the position, I've made tremendous strides compared to what I was doing last year. So I'm excited.
You said you talked to your brother, Will Pauling, and I actually asked Joe Royer this about like who he watches film of. He said he watches a lot of Travis Kelce in the NFL. So is there a certain guy that you're watching, you're admiring, trying to copy your game to?
I just kind of watch as much as I can. I mean, Garrett, my brother, Garrett, he'll always send me kind of clips of like Garrett Wilson or like JSN, guys like that. And I mean, kind of just whatever I can get my hands on to kind of help me. I could take whatever I could get. So kind of just watching whatever I can, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff, kind of my off time definitely helps.
Gotcha.
Do you prefer like a specific spot, like inside power slot, outside? Is there a place on the field that you kind of feel the most comfortable with right now, or are you just good to line up
really
wherever?
I feel pretty good about wherever they put me. So I mean, that was kind of one of the things that I was doing last year. We had a couple tight ends get hurt, go down, and they threw me in there. I didn't know if I was ready for the trenches like that, but I mean, they were asking me, "You can fact back block?" I said, "I can go out and try for sure." So I mean, just stuff like that.
I will stand in front of someone.
Yeah, I'll get in the way for sure. I'll get in the way.
Hi guys, I'm back.
He's
Sorry.
back. You got anything for Evan?
Hi Evan.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Good to see you. Just take us through how the health is. Where's your body at? Where are you at physically?
Body's feeling really good. Just been rehabbing over break. Came back today. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm starting to run, stuff like that. So kind of just getting back in the groove of things, being back from break. So spent a lot of time here in Cincinnati at the facility over break. So one of those things that I'm just excited to be back and have all the guys back too.
You think you'll be good to go for the summer? Like, how much of the summer program do you think you'll get to be a part of?
I'll be a part of the whole thing. I'll be good. I'm excited. I'll be perfectly fine before we head out to higher ground for fall camp. So, I mean, just excited.
Is it frustrating to have had kind of that stop start that you've had?
Yeah, it's definitely been a little frustrating. I mean, not everything's going to go as planned, but I mean, I just know that God's got a great plan for me in place. So I'm not really questioning it. But I mean, it's obviously hard to kind of get in the groove of things. And then next thing you know, you got to deal with this. But I mean, it's a part of football. It's a part of the sport that we love to play. So, I mean, I'm used to it. I'm just grateful to be here and ultimately get back healthy.
Keegan?
So when you kind of go back to when you're trying to make your decision about where you're going to go to school and you think about all that UC would have to offer, how much have they kind of fulfilled those promises that you thought would come as a senior in high school or even as a true freshman?
I mean, Cincinnati is just somewhere that I've always wanted to be. And that was kind of my biggest thing. And it was obviously tough going with the coaching changes and then all that stuff. But I mean, I just love the city. I love the people here. We have great coaches, great people around Linder. I mean, you couldn't really ask for anything better. And just having the support of the city, having my family close by, those were like the biggest things for me. And so just having the opportunity to come here in the first place was a blessing. They were one of my first offers. And kind of after that, they were my second offer. And after I got that offer, I think in the back of my head, I always knew that I was where I was going to end up, but just went along with the process and then ultimately made my decision to stay home and come to UC. And it's been the greatest decision I've made.
Gotcha. Well, Evan, we appreciate it. We
Appreciate you guys.
Took in more than your time allotted, so we really appreciate you
It's all
staying
good.
with us.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, there you go, Evan Prater.
All right.
Ohio for the second in a row, Ohio Mr. Football.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.